Mike's on.
Good evening. I'd like to call the Board of Supervisors meeting to order for Monday, July 20th at 7 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Roll call to establish a quorum, if you would, Amy.
Supervisor Mark Hain.
Here.
Supervisor Jeannie Vogel.
Here?
Chairman Dan Wolfel.
Here.
Supervisor Linda Waite.
Here.
Supervisor Stacy Danielle.
Here.
All right. We have enough people for a quorum. How about meet and greet? Get a chance to know all you lovely people. I'll start with the one person I know in this room.
I'm Keelan Montevideo in West Ridgeway Fire Department.
Thank you.
Brad Shorty with the Door County Sheriff's Office.
Mike Harris, Rock on the Rock.
That's three people I know. Okay.
Kathy Steinmetz, Protect Clark Lake, LLC.
Chuck Simmons.
Hmm?
Tim Tony, Line Road.
Gary Schneider, West Shore Drive.
George Zacharias, Gulf Port Trail. Lori Cowell, West Shore Drive.
Mary Cole, West Shore Drive.
John Rudolph, Northeast Wisconsin Antique Power Association. Chuck Ott, Northeast Wisconsin Antique Power Association.
Good.
Sarah Wall, 4120 Gooden Drive.
Another half. Cliff Wall, 41, 20, Cliff Drive.
64, 35, Whitefish Bay.
And East Schwalbe, same office.
Rotten Lane, West Bay.
And then we'll leave like this way. And Lane, like this way, Road. Tracy Boyd, Beach Road Drive.
Hughes Hill, 3986, Village Drive, District 13 Supervisor. County Clerk.
Barbara Buffalo, Beach Road Drive.
Dennis Wesson. Mike Brodowski, Trails and Port.
Is there anybody else hiding back there? I think that's it.
No, Betty's
Oh,
back there.
Sorry. Couldn't see you.
Parsons, Beach Road Drive. And Connie Judd, 57.
Okay. Well, welcome. Thank you much for coming this evening. Public participation for non-agenda items. If someone would like to speak, I will give them an opportunity to do so. Just raise your hand. Connie beat everybody. All right, Connie.
Mike?
We got it.
Mike?
You need to get a microphone,
Mike,
please.
Mike. Can come right out of the holder.
I would just like to tell Stacy did an excellent job at her 2 meetings that I was at for the Business Association. And if any of you are interested in becoming part of that, I would definitely suggest doing that because you have a great person in Stacy as a role model.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Connie.
It's on.
Oh,
Just please speak into it.
okay. Hi, my name is Kathy Steinmetz from Protect Clark Lake LLC. At the last town meeting, Chairman Wolfel, you said, "I don't think anyone on this board wants to see wake-enhanced boating on Clark Lake." You also said at the advice of the town attorney, you were in a holding pattern as there was a concern over a few lawsuits in the state and you wanted to see if they would be dismissed. Since the meeting, you and Tom Wilson, chairman of Jacksonport Town Board, have floated the idea of forming a lake district for Clark Lake. That is up to Clark Lake Association and residents to decide upon. Forming a lake district would take 2 to 3 years to implement. Is it your plan to do nothing and leave Clark Lake vulnerable to damage for the next 3 years? Our Protect Clark Lake attorney contacted your attorney to try and clarify your position. He was told a decision had been made and that you would not allow your attorney to speak with our attorney. We even offered to pay any additional cost for simply having a conversation. If you're concerned about being sued, the town has insurance. If you're concerned with your insurance premiums going up, isn't it worth a few $1,000s right now rather than facing a dead lake and declining property values in 2 years? We, the taxpayers, pay for your town insurance, and it's for protecting you and for protecting the town. Chairman Wolfel, in March of 2014, in an issue of the Peninsula Pulse, you were asked, what do you see as the board's duty to the residents and businesses in the municipality? You said, and I quote, to support and reflect the wishes of our townspeople. Chairman Wolfel, the people have spoken and you are not listening. Supervisor Waite, in February 15th, 2019 issue of the Pulse, you were asked, what challenges do you see ahead for the town of Sebastopol? You responded, protecting the quality of our groundwater, inland waters, and streams as a focal point. Chairman Wolfel, please honor your campaign promise and support and reflect the wishes of the townspeople. And Supervisor Waite, please honor your promise to protect our inland waters. To the entire board, please honor your duty and do the right thing and protect Clark Lake now. The issue before the board is not whether Clark Lake should someday form a Lake District. That is a separate question for the Clark Lake Advancement Association and the lake community, and if pursued, could take years to complete. The issue before you is much simpler. What will you do to protect Clark Lake before the next boating season? Unfortunately, the opportunity to have an ordinance in place for this boating season has effectively passed because of your delay. But the next boating season is approaching long before any decision on a lake district could realistically be made. The board has the authority today to move the proposed ordinance to the DNR for its required 60-day review and begin a process that could protect Clark Lake by the next season. Clark Lake cannot protect itself, and it relies on all of us to be good environmental stewards. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm Tim Temby. I'm also the president of the Clark Lake Advancement Association. And as I prepared a letter recently on behalf of the Clark Lake Association Board of Directors regarding enhanced wake boat activity at the request of one of the towns, and it was sent to both, it led me to ask a simple question. What has the town of Sebastopol said about its own goals for protecting our natural resources? I found the answers that were available to me in the 2019 comprehensive plan. Throughout that document, the town commits to protecting the natural resources of the community. It calls for the preserving our waters, shorelands, wildlife, and ecological balance. It encourages sustainable use of our natural resources and discourages activities that interfere with important lakes and streams. Your comprehensive plan also identifies ecotourism as an important objective. At the heart of ecotourism, it really means to enjoy the natural resources in ways that conserve them for future generations. Over the past several months, the board has heard testimony from residents and lake users describing the habitat disruption, the lake bottom disturbance, shoreline impacts, and serious safety concerns associated with wake-enhanced boating. Those concerns are being raised while this activity remains relatively limited on Clark Lake today. Experience on other Wisconsin lakes has shown that waiting until the activity becomes widespread makes protecting the resource far more difficult than acting early. The comprehensive plan provides the vision. The testimony you've received provides the compelling evidence for action. I respectfully ask you to take the next steps to move the proposed ordinance to the DNR for review, and if legal concerns identified by your attorney are resolved, adopt the ordinance. Doing so would be consistent with the goals the town has already established for protecting its natural resources, preserving the character of the community, and ensuring Clark Lake remains a resource that future generations can enjoy.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay. I do not plan on responding to any of these comments. I've addressed this on numerous occasions. I do believe, the only thing I will say is I do believe that the Lake District gives you an opportunity for more or less self-determination and control of your lake. I feel that, one, I don't believe it's going to take that long, but nonetheless, I believe it's the best alternative for you.
Could I ask
attorney-
one question just regarding
Our attorney and Wisconsin Towns Association have recommended we not take action. We pay them for their advice. I appreciate your concerns. Until the thing moves forward in the courts that gives us some direction, I am reluctant, highly reluctant, to take any action relative to that. So, okay. All right. Our agenda, has it been properly noticed?
It has been properly noticed.
Motion to adopt?
Make motion to adopt the agenda?
Second, wait.
Second, excuse me. Motion by Linda, motion by Jeannie, second by Linda to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. All right. Approval of the Board of Minutes, approval of the minutes, Board of Supervisors from June 15th. You had a chance to take a look at them?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Supervisors meeting, June 15th, 2026.
Motion by Mark.
Second.
Second by Jeannie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Carried. All right. Pending business. Interest rates. The conversation that I'd hoped to have with Nicolay Bank did not transpire. As it turned out, I managed to hit 2 alternate weeks that the individual in question was on vacation. So I have to wait till next week to get back to him. So I will bring that back in August. All right. Rock on the Rock updates. We have the fire chief and a representative from the sheriff's department here. I know that Mike's here as well. Perhaps I'll give you the opportunity to tell us where you see it at, and we'll take it from there. Kaylin?
Sure. We've had conversations with the promoter, and everything that we had addressed, safety-wise, or issues that we may have had, he has addressed those. I've also spoken with our.
Keelan, can you use the mic?
Sorry.
I don't think it's coming
Sorry,
through
is that better?
speakers.
Is it on?
Isn't it
I don't
on?
think
Should be
I don't
on.
think it's coming through speakers.
Just hold it closer.
Is that better?
Nope, it's not doing anything.
It's on.
It's on.
It is.
We can hear it.
I think it's on.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. Is that better?
That's
Sure.
much better, yep.
So everything that we had, not issues, but I guess issues he has addressed and to our satisfaction. I've also spoken with Aaron Leclerc, who's our EMS director, and he doesn't see any issues as well on the medical side. So I guess unless there's some specific outstanding issues or questions, I'm happy to answer them or talk about them.
Perhaps we give the sheriff's department a moment to just confirm all of those good things, and then if the board has some questions, please.
So I met with Mike up at the property up there, and he kind of went over his plan and stuff like that. And we're going to treat it kind of like, just like we do any festival for any village or anything like that. We're going to respond if we need to calls. He did, and I discussed some traffic issues that might end up on Bayshore Drive, especially at the end of the event. So he did put in a reserve request to handle some traffic control down on Bayshore Drive in the evening hours towards the closing of the event, when we think more people will be exiting the property. But other than that, I mean, we'll respond just like any other call that happens at any other festival.
So I'll let the board ask any questions relative to that conversation.
I'm happy.
Okay. Jeannie?
No, I see that the traffic control is going to be between 9 PM and 11:30, according to the notes we received from Mike. So if that's the
That's
time
correct.
frame, okay.
Linda?
I think the memorandum covers everything, the questions that we had last month.
Stacy, anything?
No, I agree with Linda. I think the memorandum does take into account of all the questions we had last month as well.
Into the mic.
Okay.
Pull the mic
Pull the
in
mic
for
down.
you, Stacy.
Okay. Do we just want to, my comment was that the memorandum from Mr. Parent covered all of the questions that were posed at our meeting last month. So I don't have any concerns right now.
Could those be shared so we know what they were? Because there were lots of questions asked, and we just want to know what was shared back then. Because we have no clue.
Could briefly summarize it.
Pardon me?
I could briefly summarize.
Sure, go ahead and
Go ahead.
summarize it.
Okay, I'll just briefly summarize a memorandum dated June 25th, 2026. It came from Mike Parent as president of Rock on the Rock, and it was addressed to Bayshore Properties Owners Association, so I assume your board received it, the Sebastopol Town Board and Sunshine Resources of Door County regarding the August 1st Rock on the Rock concert, in response to questions posed at our board meeting, safety, traffic controls. You've just heard Deputy Shortreed say that he has checked out everything and parking is permitted and he will have extra reserve. EMS access, that's been covered with the county fire and EMS personnel. Alcohol will begin at 1 p.m. and end at 10 p.m. Fencing and barricades, detailed plans are in place. Lighting connections have already been made for portable generators and lights. Sanitations, porta potties, we'll address that. Noise level and length of event, 3 bands will not exceed 90 decibels. Ticket sales limited to 2,000. Music will end at 11 p.m. No lights will illuminate any homes. All lighting is limited to the rock wall. Post-event cleanup, garbage pickup and removal will be completed by Monday, August 3rd. Liquor license, Veterans of Foreign Wars, the VFW, is sponsoring the liquor license. And that's that.
Okay. The only other comment that I had after reading through the memorandum was from, I guess, directed more than anybody, the Sheriff's Department, maybe, and that is when you have liquor involved and you have quite a steep cliff to fall off of. Are you comfortable with the necessary precautions taken so that someone doesn't go over the edge? That's really my primary.
I believe so. From my understanding, the event is going to be held back towards the cliffs more and not directly to the cliff area, and he was going to fence that off so nobody could go past that, the road that leads up there.
Okay. The other one is.
And we were going to walk around that before he has the event to make sure everything was in place at that time.
Okay. The only other thing I suggested to Mark is, obviously, this event's in Sebastopol, and asked him to contact Ashley Stotts, who is our crew chief, regarding the use of some of our EMRs. Obviously, that could be of benefit rather than relying upon the county staff only. That would be my only other suggestion. If there is a specific question that wasn't answered from the floor, I'll permit a couple, but not forever. Yes? Microphone, please. We'll get you one. Don, would you hand her yours behind you?
I used to be a teacher, so I think you could probably hear me.
It's not me.
It's not,
It's the people that are at home.
yeah.
That are listening.
Thank you.
I just have a question about the number of volunteers that you currently have, and if that impacts security in any way.
Mike?
What's the question?
I think when Sunshine Resources had said 250 volunteers, they were thinking several shifts and shorter time frames. Looking at it in more detail, I have about 60 volunteers, and I think that's adequate. Right now, we have around 1,000 people expected to show up, maybe get to 1,500. I don't think it'll be the 2,000 that we're originally hoping for. There will be a safety person trained in safety. There'll be a tent, first aid tent, that'll be on site. So from a safety standpoint, I did meet with EMS this morning and went over detailed safety plan. And we talked about the emergency action plan, emergency notification 911. We talked about severe weather. We talked about fire, medical emergencies, law enforcement, emergency vehicle access. And I'm meeting with EMS again next Wednesday before the event to go over all of these things. I do have a plan here as far as where barricades are going to be set up. I can show it to the board if they want. We're going to be monitoring people that are on the property, where they're going to be, and making sure they're confined to the areas that are safe. Nobody's going to be allowed anywhere near any cliffs or near the base of the bluff.
Okay. Any other questions on this topic? Yes. Microphone.
There was just the two concerns that were raised last meeting, and that was the quiet time supposedly starts at 10 p.m. And I guess as a homeowner, we had hoped that the schedule would be, modified so that there wasn't such a late evening. And then I thought the property owners that own the wall, there was the question of using their wall for displaying the light show, since that's not the property of this organization. So how has that been addressed, the quiet time? I think the last time it was said, well, call the sheriff. So is that what we're all to do, is start calling the sheriff at 10 o'clock, and if the light show's on their property, call the sheriff? Is that the answer?
I believe what I said at last meeting was it's an ordinance against noise, but it's not something that we enforce ahead of time. So, and the enforcement would be through the sheriff. So nothing's changed in that regard. And I believe the issue of the light show on the wall becomes another matter that the town is not involved in. We don't deal in trespassing against a light show on a wall. So, and I don't know if Mike, if you have repositioned that at all, or you have any feeling on that, I can't say.
Just give me 1 minute on that.
Okay.
If you got other questions. And the hours, we did curtail the hours. It's going to be 11:30, and I think you're referring to the Airbnb rentals as far as the 10 o'clock
Correct.
curfew. And there is no curfew time for this type of an event. We were going to play music till 11:30, and we did shorten it to 11 o'clock.
All right.
I guess we were just hoping in terms of being a good neighbor, that it would fall in line with, the 10 o'clock, and also, with not using the rock wall instead of putting everybody in the position of policing their own property. And I understand what you said, the chairman, that's right. I mean, you're not saying that he's got to do it, but, that puts us all in a position of self-policing. And so it's all part of the neighborhood. And again, just asking that Mike reconsider in terms of being a good neighbor, and that would go a long way. Thank you.
Any other comment, Mike?
I can't find the information here in front of me, but I did check into lighting that wall. I do own to the bottom of the base of the bluff, and the property owners on top do own the horizontal piece on top, as well as the vertical wall. If you look at state laws and precedents that were set, lawsuits that were filed, shining light on a vertical wall is not considered trespass or a nuisance as long as it's not causing economic harm or some type of interference with shining in lights of the houses above. There's been several lawsuits that have been settled in favor of allowing lights to be shown on this type of a situation. And I checked into that in detail before I even thought about having this concert. And as long as I'm not causing economic harm or shining lights and causing any disruption into the houses of the lights or the windows of the houses above, I'm meeting all the rules and regulations as far as shining lights on that wall.
Okay, thank you. All right, I will allow one last question if it's not a repeat, if someone has that question. If not, we're finished with this topic. All right, thank you. Thank you for attending. And you don't have to stay. All right. Moving on, topic is the newsletter. And Linda, perhaps you can share with us where we stand on that topic.
I can. So I've been in touch with Laddie Chapman, who is laying the newsletter out for us. His latest email as of today is that we can expect to have the newsletter done this week and ready for printing. However, I have not seen a draft, so I definitely want to see a draft before that. He said it's looking like 10 pages, but we really don't have an option for 10 pages. It's either 8 or 12. So we may have to downsize some of our photos, but hopefully we can have a draft that I can look at this week, so.
Has he given you any idea what, because he's had it a bit, right? Has he? Or am I wrong?
Probably since the first of the month or so.
Okay.
But we've been tweaking it as we go along.
So you got some progress.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely making progress.
Okay.
And Sunshine House, or Sunshine Resources, will do our printing and distributing, and they are well aware that it's coming soon, so.
All right. So they'll take care of that. All right. Thank you. Updated committee members. You have in front of you the 2026 committees and their membership, and there are 2 new people to officially put on the list. Under the Plan Commission, we have added Dick Weidman, who was on the Plan Commission a number of years ago, and we have added George Zacharian. Did I say that right,
Right,
George?
Zachariason.
Zachariason. That's why I asked if I said it right. Okay. So we need to make those 2 gentlemen official, so a motion to approve that would be appreciated.
I would move to approve that addition to the Plan Commission, and thank you, Mr. Zachariason.
All right. Motion by Linda, second from
Second?
Jeannie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. All right, thank you. And thanks, George, for stepping up. We appreciate that. All right, moving on to new business. We have a request from Betty Wall for a variance from the Door County Shoreland zoning ordinance, which requires accessory structures to be located at least 75 feet from the ordinary high water mark. The applicant proposes to build a sauna located as close as 63 feet from the ordinary high water mark. Property is located at 4120 Glidden Drive, parcel number 02203-28282734E. And Linda, you had this as part of your Plan Commission meeting?
Yeah, so the Plan Commission discussed both this item A and B at our meeting on July 8th. Mr. Wall was available and provided some information, background on their request for a variance. I would ask, so the board has the complete packets on both of these items. I would ask the board to go to page 67 of your packet, which are my minutes from the meeting that explains everything. I'll briefly summarize that. And then it also has the Plan Commission's recommendation. So rather than filling out a separate form, I included that in the minutes. So again, the request is for an accessory structure to build a sauna located less than 75 feet from the ordinary high water mark. Again, Mr. Wall did appear at our meeting and added some details. The sauna is small, just 7 by 14 feet. It does not have a permanent foundation. It will not have plumbing nor electrical utilities. He had 3 letters of support from the neighbors that it would not block their view of the lake. Let's see. A variance for a deck was granted to the previous owner of that property in 2020, or in the year 2000. We looked at the topography of that parcel, and other locations would probably require the removal of some mature trees. There's also various contours that would require changes or excavation of grades. So there is a possible alternative, and that would be to place it within the legacy footprint of the house as a modification or closer to the house. There was a permit granted in April of 2026. However, that was rescinded when Door County Land Use went out and remeasured. So the requested location does have a few saplings, younger trees that would be removed. Mr. Wall did offer that the sauna could possibly be moved back towards the road 2 or 3 feet. And also the land use staff report indicated there were some other buildable areas nearer to the roadway, but again, that involves a setback. There was also mention that if this variance is granted, another structure may come along and have the benefit of the variance. All in all, there was a motion to approve the variance. We looked at the general criteria that the Board of Adjustment requires and scrutinized that. We did think there were some unique property limitations, again, due to contour and the possible need for a retaining wall, and unnecessary hardship did not come into play. So the motion was to approve, send to the town board a recommendation to approve. The vote was 4 in favor and 2 opposed. So that takes care of the wall. Now, Mr. Wall is here. I don't know if he wants to add anything to that. Oh, you moved.
Snuck up here.
I thought,
We moved up.
you're both here, okay.
Yep, it's on.
It's on.
It's on, I got it
Yep.
closer, there we go.
We hear you.
Yes, we moved up so we could get close to the microphone.
Oh, and there were also some photos on your desk this evening as well. So, sorry.
Anything to add? I don't know.
Well, the photos are, it's very hard because they're 2D, obviously, and it's hard to see the contours of the property. I did bring some other photos that maybe would help, but it is, the location is on top of the dune like this, so there's a severe drop-off. Well, obviously, we can't move closer to the water, so it's a little more gradual, but it's quite a severe drop-off towards the road, which I'm not, I want to be as environmentally conscious as I can, which means I did mark, Supervisor Zella said, could you go and get some dimensions of the trees? There's a hemlock tree about 3 feet over that's hemlock tree that's 18 inches in, 24 inches in circumference. You'll have to test your math skills from high school, but divide by pi, that gives you the.
Probably ours, yeah.
Okay. So, anyway, that's a hemlock tree that's very close, and of course it drops severely down towards the road. Then there's a very old cedar tree, 56 inches in circumference, and I'm measuring that 4 feet from above, which is kind of the standard. If they're measuring tree sizes, you measure about 4 feet up, and if you're trying to get a size for being the biggest tree in Wisconsin, it's 4 feet up. You measure the circumference, you measure the height, and then you measure the drip line, so to speak. And then there's another hemlock, 18 inches circumference, about 4 feet away. So I've got, and of course these trees don't go straight up, they branch out, so I can still temporarily, well, not temporarily, we can move it over that foot to 2 feet, but that's about it without really impacting the dune itself, or flattening the whole area out, so.
Okay, nothing else? All right, anyone on the board have questions that?
Well, my first thought was, couldn't you move it back? Because most of your house is in the in the area of the high water mark, right? It's within.
Yes, if you look at the
Yeah.
one.
And, just adding another structure, almost like a room, onto it is just like adding something that shouldn't be there. But then it was explained to me about the situation of the drop-off, how the topography of the land. apparently you really like to take saunas. So, you know, so my initial feeling was to say no. I don't think that should happen. But being that the majority of the Plan Commission thought it was acceptable for those very reasons, that's different. And my one vote probably isn't going to make a whole lot of difference anyway.
Please remember this, every vote makes a difference. Every vote makes a difference.
In the long run, it does.
Yes, it sure does. The sad thing is, if we have high water again, like we had in 2020, we can move the sauna, we can move.
Can't move
the house, we can't.
Yeah.
So,
And again, if I could just draw the board's attention to the Plan Commission recommendations, our reasons.
Right.
And then the concerns and the conditions that were brought forth was environmental impacts, trees removal, obviously. Moving closer to the road depending on elevation, and again, setbacks there. Part of our town's comprehensive plan is that we are consistent with state and county shoreland zoning restrictions versus supporting a variance, so that came up for discussion as well. And we did have a concern as to clarification on the buildable area taking setbacks into consideration. So I just ask the board to keep those in mind.
and I realize you're one step in the process. I still have a couple more steps to go, so.
Yes.
Right. The Board of Adjustment will make the ultimate decision.
Stacy, you have any comments you'd like to make?
I was at the meeting and I was in agreement with it being closer to the house. If you could move it a couple feet, that is okay, but putting it closer to the road just doesn't seem feasible. Just the different depths of the dunes out there, the landscape out there, the feasibility of just going way out there for the sauna, coming way back. I mean, it just didn't seem logical to have it way out there.
We agree.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyone else comments? Okay, I did take a trip out to view the property, and I supplied the board with a picture of the slope, which I think is gives you a better sense for the issue they're dealing with. I did not propose that he build a tri-level sauna, although that would probably be an excellent suggestion, built into the side of the hill. No, I looked at the site. There's really not a lot of other alternatives, and unfortunately, the majority of that, the house, et cetera, is all within the ordinary high water mark. There's not a lot of change there. So I would support allowing him to at least take the next step with the county, so.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, since I did not pay a personal visit to the site, would you think that this structure obscures anything or stands out? It's going to be among trees?
Yeah, it's pretty well hidden.
Okay.
You won't see it from virtually anything, and as that hillside goes down, it goes into a valley and kind of up, and no, I don't believe it hurts anything.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
Dan, just a quick comment. I didn't have a lot of comments, or any comments, because I've been to the property before, so I know. I've walked the property, worked for them, doing different electrical things for them, so I understand all that. And the worst thing you can possibly do to a dune is remove a tree. So,
Right.
because that just, all the roots are holding that together, so if we don't have to have move any trees, that's wonderful. And Linda, thank you so much for putting this in the packet. I
Yeah.
think that's a great idea, having the whole, so we can
Yeah,
Right.
read it.
it's helpful.
And that's, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
all right. So, with that in mind, someone would need to make a motion to take the next step. And I'm going to guess, Linda, you'll be it.
Sure, I would be happy to make that motion. So I would move that the town board send a letter of support to the Door County Land Use / Board of Adjustment in support of the wall request for a variance in order to construct a sauna based on the information in the packet and additional photos that we obtained.
Okay, we have a motion by Linda, second by
Second.
Stacy. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, good
Abstaining.
luck. All right.
Good luck.
All right. One down,
Oh,
one to
and
go.
that hearing is, I forgot when the hearing was,
Next week, yeah,
next week, and I will be out of town, so
I as well.
maybe somebody else will want to attend, but our recommendation will be on file with them, so. Yes, so Amy can complete that recommendation form.
The recommendation, I'll send it directly to the county. So, no, nothing to pick up. Okay? Yep.
And you'll
you.
be there. You'll be at that meeting. Okay, great. All right, just make sure. It's not in lieu of.
Out at Sand Bay?
No, not offhand. All right.
Yeah, you're welcome.
To continue on with variances and other conditional uses, we have Northeast Wisconsin Antique Power Association, also commonly known as the Threshery, who has a request for a conditional use permit to expand the agricultural visitation facility and establish an assembly hall use within existing buildings. Property is located at 5005 North Country View. And Linda, I will let you, since you covered this so well.
Okay, again, I would call the board's attention to the packet, the minutes on page 68 from our Plan Commission meeting on July 8th. So as we proceeded to have our meeting, we were shocked that no one from the Northeast Wisconsin Antique Power Association showed up. I should have made a call that evening. Anyway, the next morning, I did call Jerry Nelson, whose name was on the application, and he was really taken aback because he had just received the notice that day. So he suggested we contact Don Rudolph and some of the other board members, which we did. We had questions. Mr. Rudolph has provided all the answers. Again, those are in the packet. So I'll just briefly summarize the Plan Commission meeting. Not having somebody there, we couldn't have the answers to our questions, but we tried to keep the discussion focused on, what the application asked for, and that was for an assembly hall to allow for permanent use for more than 10 annual events. So you see the points that were raised. We now have all of the answers. Traffic and noise and lighting was addressed, letters of support from neighbors. We do have confirmation that it is a 501c3 nonprofit, that any expansion right now is taking place in existing buildings, definitely adequate parking areas. Sanitation system would be the portables that they've always used in the past. Compliance with EMS, fire and safety, types of events, that again is explained in Mr. Rudolph's response, and hours of operation. So basically, they want to just continue the same thing they have been doing, maybe increase the number of weddings, wedding venues. But I think everything was answered. They have been a good neighbor so far, so I don't see them doing anything to jeopardize that. And perhaps Mr. Rudolph wants to, or Mr. Ott wants to add, use them, yeah.
Well, I would just say that we've received several donations and also potentially have another donation, and without the ability to add more buildings onto the property to store, for instance, we received a donation of some commercial fishing equipment, and this would be a display that we previously have not had. So the intent is to set up a display that illustrates what commercial fishing was in Door County. And there would be qualified people there to show how to do the nets and various items related to commercial fishing. We also had the potential of getting an old cheese factory that supplied cheese to downtown Sturgeon Bay around the turn of the century. And without a place to place the building, it makes it difficult for us to do that. That's part of the reason for the request for the permit. We need a cover for some of the equipment that's sitting outside to protect it from weather. In short, that's the long and short of why we wanted to do this permit. The permit encompasses a fairly large area that gives us the ability to do things in the future without having to do this again. The cost is, for a nonprofit, is a consideration, so we are just trying to be wise how we spend our money and plan for the next years ahead.
Okay.
I look at this as a living museum, and the application itself isn't for building expansion right now. It's for the conditional use permit to be considered an assembly hall and not limited to 10 events, correct?
Yes.
So the limit is lifted from 10 events? I don't remember the answer to that.
It's my understanding, well, Mr. Zettel is here. It's my understanding that anybody can have an assembly for up to 10 events annually. If you want to do more, then you need a conditional use permit to allow that, correct?
Yes, if
Okay.
that use is allowed in that zoning district.
Correct, yes.
So does that have to have a number set on it, or is it just unlimited after that if it passes?
I don't think there's any.
He's
Just
saying
unlimited?
unlimited.
Okay.
So, and again, I would just look at our recommendations there and our concerns. The reason for our decision, obviously to increase interest in historical agricultural equipment and farming, promotions favorable to visitors and our agritourism goals. We've never had a prior complaint as to any activities going on, and it's a family-friendly atmosphere. Yes, it's consistent with our plan, again, promotion of the agritourism. Current concerns or objections, that was subject to the applicant providing answers to all our questions, which I think have been fully responded to.
Okay, anyone else on the board have a question?
And the vote from the Plan Commission was 6 in favor and 0 against, so it was,
Mark, anything?
No, I think it's wonderful. I love
Jeannie?
it.
I agree. I think
Linda,
it's
you
great.
probably disagree.
no, I don't. The RPC will hear this on August 6th at 3 PM. Put it on your calendar. So it's at the Government Center downtown.
Stacy, do you have any questions?
I did want to know if any of the events, like the Thrashery, are you going to have camping or associate camping?
The answer is yes. We do have camping on the grounds at those events.
Okay.
Right.
Mr. Zettel, I think you had raised some other questions after the meeting. Did you want to address those now?
I think he's moving.
You think? Educated guess.
He's moving up a
Is that
second
his
time already tonight.
Yeah, he's ignoring us and just out the door.
Thank you for allowing me to speak, and I appreciate the detailed response by Mr. Rudolph to provide this information in front of the board. I appreciate Supervisor Daniil's question about camping. As the town knows, camping is a very contentious issue that you have raised to us on the Resource Planning Committee, of which I am the vice chair this term. Last year I was a chairman when that issue was raised. Camping also falls into the notion of you can camp in any zoning district on a temporary basis. This would be temporary, so it would only be for 10 issuances, but I would just want to raise the concern that camping is an issue, and so the question is, who's camping? Who's the owner of that property, right? And that's one of the questions the county's probably going to ask at the Resource Planning Committee. So I think that's something that's going to be raised as a concern, since this board and other town boards have raised many issues with the county relative to enforcement of the current camping ordinance. And if you looked at the camping ordinance, I would struggle to say that this would qualify as a campground. So I think just, food for thought relative to if that's really a requirement. If there is camping, it's only be relative to the temporary use. And I think there's going to be some questions when you look at camping, who the owner is, how many nights they're there, et cetera. I think it's tough for us to evaluate who the owner is as an individual at the site or location when we talk about camping. So just something relative to the town to consider relative to the feedback that we've received many times at the RPC relative to the county's lack of enforcing ordinances, especially camping. So just food for thought.
Okay. So,
Does the Threshery allows camping currently during its event? Am I right there?
Yes.
And those are vendors, participants versus guests? Is that right or wrong?
It's the people that display equipment, board members or members of the Threshery, and possibly vendors too, yes.
So it's not so much a guest. I'm coming to the event, I'm going to camp on the grounds, and I'm going to attend. No connection other than just I'm there like any other event in Door County.
I would say the vast majority is exactly the way you described it, yes.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have any questions?
Well, do we have an issue? That's what my question is.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking if anybody else has a concern.
well, right now, the comprehensive zoning ordinance allows camping, correct? As long as it's not more than 30 days, correct?
I think it's
Well,
actually
that's-
less than,
It's
no,
not
it
more
is-
than 15 consecutive
Or
days,
15, yeah.
nor more
2
than
weeks.
30 in a year.
Total, right.
And yes, and there's concerns relative to the permit, relative to who the owner is, right? So to me, this, the adage of looks like a duck, walks like a duck, it looks a lot like a campground, or like a camping site, right? If I'm building a house and my contractor shows up and they put their RV on where the house is being built along with the owner, that would raise some eyebrows as well, right? Saying, hey, I'm just I'm just a contractor and I don't have a place to stay, so I'm just gonna pull up another RV and trailer while I'm building this house. Well, the county probably wouldn't allow that, right? They allow the owner to put up, a temporary structure, while their house is being built. So I think that's where the whole camping piece, is something that I don't want to derail this because the question is about an assembly. But it might be worthwhile to have a separate discussion with land use about how they would view camping in this instance.
Well, doesn't allowing camping on private property, does it have to be a family member? It can just be my guest, correct?
well,
So
camping,
what is the difference between their guests camping opposed to my guests camping on my private property?
Well, as it happens on private property, there's questions about pouts and what your pouts capacity is
Right.
for
Well, they
for
have
guests that
addressed
are
that
on
with
there. So,
portables.
again, I would leave that up with, have a discussion with the land use department. I think that's where it's most appropriate because this is a fairly unique issue. But again, I just remind the board, the discussions about the challenges that you've raised to the county about enforcing our ordinances. Camping was one of the
and
favorite
I have another
ones.
one just happening as you speak that I was about to call on, so I hear
So-
that, so.
Anyway, so it's just food for thought, Mr. Chairman.
And you only allow camping when there is an event happening, correct? There's nobody camping there when you're not having
That
a...
is correct, yes.
So we could put a potential
Restriction?
restriction on
When?
camping on that property as a, tied to, the good question is tied to what? Tied to a specific event or number of events?
Well-
Two or three or four or whatever? I mean,
Well-
the camping is a legit concern. I
Right,
go
and-
after them all the time.
If they have a wedding venue, are people in the wedding going to be able to camp there?
Well, it might be a concern, but right now, the ordinance allows it. So we're second guessing as to what land
I
use
think
or
it's-
RPC
And
may
I think
come.
it's worth looking at that
Yeah.
ordinance relative to the context of how it's being used currently. So the
And that
question
would be
is
up to the-
how land use would evaluate that.
Right, that
That's-
would be
that's
up
all
to
my-
the county.
So my thought is on that.
Well, maybe we leave it in the trusting hands of the RPC and see where they go with it. I don't know. At least at our level, I don't know how else we limit it or enforce it or
We could just include it as a concern
concern.
or
Maybe that's
objection.
it.
That's a probably way.
Put it in the feedback to the RPC that there is a concern about camping and the fact that it could become a problem or could get out of control. I don't know if somebody at a wedding is gonna need to do camping, but, who knows?
I know, you don't know.
You don't know. And-
That's
and
the thing.
you know, as I look to your being here this evening, I understand the confusion in terms of the mail and whatever, but the only reason you're here is because no one had any answers to any of the questions they had to ask. And had you been here, we might have avoided this conversation. Perhaps not, but at any rate, just so you know, we're not honing in on a threshery. We all think it's a great thing for our community, so don't want to leave you with the wrong impression,
No, we appreciate your consideration.
so. Okay.
So I think if the concerns, on the concerns or objections line there, Amy, would just that applicant must be compliant when it comes to zoning, or when it comes to camping, or something like that.
Okay.
Does that satisfy you?
I think we might say that camping could be a concern that at this point in time, we don't know how to limit
We don't know how to address it.
During
or
the
address.
events.
We don't know how to
And so
address
we're
it.
open to the RPC's input. Let's put it that way.
Sounds good.
I would not say RPC, I would say land use services.
Land
They're the
use.
ones
I'm
that's
sorry,
going
yeah.
to make a recommendation. So it should be to the land use department. There's the one that evaluate, determine, and assess the ordinance.
Good
Yep.
point.
Good point. Okay, with hearing that,
Motion?
yeah,
All right.
Perfect.
I would make a motion that the Sebastopil Town Board forward a recommendation supporting the Northeastern Wisconsin's Antique Power Association's request for a conditional use permit to expand their egg facility and establish assembly hall use, and concerns as discussed regarding camping.
okay, we have,
Reasons are outlined, proposal is consistent with the Plan Commission.
okay, I'm sorry, I cut you off by
That's
mistake.
okay.
Motion by Linda, second by,
Second.
Oh, go ahead. Ooh, Stacy will have it.
Tie.
all right, second by Stacy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Onward to the next
Okay.
meeting, gentlemen. Make
August
sure you're
6th.
at that one.
August 6th, 3 PM.
All right. All right, moving on. Celebrating America's 250th. I honestly don't remember who got a copy of this memo, but I think we all did.
It's in the packet.
I know it's in the packet. I mean, originally, did we all get a copy of it?
I saw it at the zone, so.
Okay. Any rate, the gist of it is that Door County Tourism Zone gave each community in the county a check for an event to host the 250th anniversary. In our case, it turned out to be roughly right, $5,800, pretty close. There was a couple of side conversations that I had with Linda regarding one event, which was to try and incorporate something with an Cubs game, ice cream, a few other things. And we were kind of kicking that around, and we had a date until I think we raised the issue that if we tied to a Cubs event, we would impact their ability to charge. At the same time, we'd be promoting an event. So I think during those discussions, Amy chimed in with the idea that we host the showing of the Titanic back-to-back 6 times. And that event didn't get as much enthusiasm as you would have thought, but she did have a movie night at the town park with popcorn, and I don't recall whatever other details. And somewhere between those 3 conversations, the topic died. Maybe a graceful death, maybe not. But, so I brought it back because the funds are there, and to see what ideas you might have and a timeline if we do something. And so it's kind of open for discussion. You know that Amy and Linda and Dan have had ideas, so I'd be curious to hear Stacy's and Mark's and Jeannie's.
Well, I was in discussions with Linda about renting the soft serve machine for the Cubbies game this past Friday night, which I thought was pretty cool, and I never heard anything else. I will say, my wife looked into doing movie nights at the park years ago, and if you do that, there's a very, very limited amount of movies out there that you can get without having to get the rights to them and everything else. So there's not a lot of even close to our time run movies. They're like way back movies and such. So just so if we think of a movie night, we'll have to look into all that stuff.
Well, at least we got money, if not knowing
Well,
how much that's
right.
run, but at any rate, okay.
Yeah, I think the Cubs might have one more Friday night game, maybe. I can't remember, Linda, we talked about it, and that's all the further it went.
How old is old? Like old movie?
I don't know
Mr. Smith
exactly.
goes
That
to
was,
Washington.
No, right?
it was,
Because you could do like, I'm just saying, you could do like The Sandlot. I mean, that's an old
well, it's not the
kids
age of the
movie.
movie,
I know,
it's
but
the,
just my kids love
It's
that.
the rights.
it's the rights. I mean, it's not the age of the movie, but I'm just saying, there wasn't a lot of movies that like even caught the interest of when we talked about it.
But I think as long as you don't charge, you can show a movie.
But then how,
Like the Crest Pavilion shows current movies, and as long as they don't charge,
Oh,
You
really?
can show it.
I'd have to check to be sure, like I could
She did a lot of
ask them,
homework. She,
but-
they do movies at the park in Martin Park
Yeah, they do on
during
Fridays, right?
And I
the
think
summer.
as long as you
So
don't
there has to
charge.
be some way or caveat to work around all of that.
well, we don't know if they're paying for that either.
I think it's free.
It's free.
No,
Movies in the
no,
park
no,
are free.
no, no,
no,
So
no,
like
no,
who-
If
no,
that-
no,
okay.
no.
City.
Or
People are
the,
paying
or
if they're-
businesses maybe sponsor it.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, we could check.
we can certainly make 1 or 2 calls and assess the viability of that. I think the other problem is, not problem, but if you're gonna show a movie and you're gonna promote whatever, we have a venue over there, but do we have the ability to project a decent quality picture on what, a sheet?
On what?
No, you
We
could
might
get
be able to
those.
rent equipment from the
Yeah, you could rent
library
it.
or
Yeah.
temporary screens too,
Yeah, and-
portable screens.
All right.
On Amazon, they have the portable screens. I mean, they're fairly inexpensive, but
So,
When we looked into it, my cousin's neighbor down in Green Bay literally takes 2 king-size sheets and puts it on his garage, and he puts weights on the bottom.
oh,
So
that,
it
I mean,
does
you could do
move,
something like
but it
that.
doesn't hold, because if it holds it too tight, it it actually vibrates more. But he just puts weights on 3 spots and pins it together, and he watches all the Packer games on there, and it's as good as you're gonna get a movie. It's very good quality.
And then you just have to have a backup if it rains, or
Well,
you
we got
cancel it
inside
or
the,
postpone.
inside the pavilion, we could do the whole, be right
Yeah.
there.
The cover, yeah.
we
It's
need a
all
lot of
covered.
sheets.
Well, I did check on the Dingaling Ice Cream, that you can rent this outfit, and it's pretty reasonable, like to serve 300 people, it's only $525. I also checked with maybe a banner or two if we're going to do some advertising from FLS. That runs pretty reasonable, like probably less than $80 each, depending on what we want to put on it for graphics or text. But you know, just saying, free ice cream tonight, or free ice cream Friday night. And so July is almost done, and maybe we decide to do something in August, or maybe over Labor Day weekend. Kids will be around, because
Well,
they have to be back in school.
Right, and you could promote like back to school.
Back to school something, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe even have like a back-to-school gift bag. We've got
Right.
$6,000 to spend.
Well, if you're gonna do the 250th, I think you'd like to find a government kind of, you know, what do I wanna say, a patriotic movie.
Oh,
Right.
Something that.
If we do a movie, yeah.
If we did a movie, you'd wanna find a patriotic movie, and then you'd have to figure out how you couch it and what your audience is to try and determine, you know, where you go from there.
Why do you have to do a patriotic movie?
Well, it's the 250th anniversary.
That's what it's-
We're having a big party just to celebrate, you know.
Well, I'm just thinking it would be good if you could.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
thinking
Not
red,
how
white, and
much.
blue sprinkles.
That's,
There
I
you
was
go.
waiting for
We
that.
can do, we
That's
can do
very
other
patriotic.
things with the red, white, and blue theme, but you let families enjoy a movie that.
I think we give everyone sparklers.
Well, and the
Oh,
banner.
yeah.
and-
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
Mark,
Mark,
you know,
yeah,
and-
Mark, yeah,
And the banner,
sparklers in the park.
the
I'll go
banner
mine.
would say, Town of Sevastopol celebrates the nation's 250th anniversary. Join us
Yeah,
Friday night or Sunday night or whatever.
Whatever.
Well, we could tie it in, but we need to decide on a date and what we're gonna do.
Correct.
Or do I need to find out about the movie first?
Well, is that the single event that we've honed in on out of?
What if we showed our parade from 2000?
Oh, God.
We had the
Centennial?
UW band, we had everything.
Oh, boy.
no, there you go. Can
That's
we
at
get the
least an
UW
hour's
band?
worth. And maybe we
Right?
just do a cartoon thing then.
We paid,
Like
we-
Bluey.
Why don't we just all get up there and do a show? We can just do a little skit then.
I
Well,
don't think so.
somebody hit on an idea that I liked.
Oh, boy.
Let's hire the UW
Be
band.
banned.
It's at least $100 per person. plus-
Oh, my.
plus a
So-
couple
Is it really?
hundred-
Really?
Oh, yeah, plus a couple hundred for the director.
You know?
And they can camp over at Threshery Grounds, that's free.
Oh, that would be,
I have
that's a good idea,
I have a good
Connie.
line on that. A friend of mine has a thing called Party in a Box, and he's got bouncy houses and
That's a good idea.
such.
The bouncy houses. And then some bouncy houses. Ice cream, hot dogs.
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
Keep in mind, there's a lot of volunteer time organizing that stuff and getting it going.
I know, the chairman's gonna be there, Amy, my kids,
I guess
Mark's
we're all
kids.
organizing.
We could have, we could kick in a couple bucks of our own, and we could see if we could get the UW marching band to do a John Philip Sousa concert kind of thing at the park. Music, ice cream, ice cream floats. I don't know, I just threw it out there, I don't.
We do have a very local band that's related to a couple people around here that lives within spitting distance that
In Sevastopol.
maybe they could, you know,
Them?
the thems, maybe they could get up there and, I mean, I'm sure Brian could sing some patriotic song. Oh, I'm talking about the Modern Day Drifters. I mean,
Yeah.
that'd be kind of neat, actually. You might be
And the
surprised.
Drifters. Yes.
I'm just
UW
saying.
band
Yes.
and the drifters.
And the
Oh,
Big Mouth and the Power Tools will be here all night, okay.
whoa. We got the ideas just going.
I really like the ice cream idea. I think, you know, you get ice cream, I think you're gonna bring more kids, with, you know, and bring the families out.
Yep.
Just let, you know, we have to advertise enough or all of a
Yeah.
sudden we don't have 46 people there.
Right.
I just Googled the hire the band. Let's see, a fifth quarter performance up to 30 per minute, up to 30 minutes, or a parade, $1,140
Forget the money.
for 11 to 15 performers.
So we could easily pull that together with what we have and still do something else, just as a thought. I don't care. I mean, they are well followed. Maybe you could have the Sebastopol schools as the warm-up band. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there that I do know that they get a great following. So as they did at our own event here.
Right.
And,
Oh, and they were in Haga Harbor over the 4th of July.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
But would they
I
be
don't-
available on Labor Day weekend?
well, maybe you don't
No,
have to do it.
probably not.
When does, I mean, football season's kicking off and getting going, and,
And Labor Day weekend, the baseball is over at the park.
oh yeah, we got the softball tournaments.
If
That's
like the
only
week
on,
before.
that's only on Saturday now, right? Didn't they cut it back to just, or
Yeah,
is it
they-
Saturday and
Saturday,
Sunday?
Yeah, they
Sunday,
don't do it Friday night.
Saturday, Sunday.
They don't do Friday.
Or we just carry the money over and we have a very, very patriotic Santa come in for the Christmas party. Linda can wear 2 suits, an eagle and her cute little elf outfit, right?
That'd be one hell of a Christmas party.
Dan can put on a white beard and he could be,
There we go.
right?
Get a sleigh and everything.
I mean,
Live reindeer. I know.
What is Labor Day? That's September
September
7th. And UW-Madison is playing Notre Dame when at the Green Bay, at Lambeau Field.
That weekend?
No, I just said, when are they? They've got a
Oh.
game at Lambeau Field. It's Notre Dame UW game in August, I think, right? Somebody Google that one.
What is it?
yeah, it's,
UW Notre Dame football game at Lambeau Field in August.
September 6th.
Is that when it is?
It's Labor Day.
Sunday, September 6th, 2026. Tickets are available if you're looking for some, Dan.
So that's Labor Day weekend, that would be, I was just
It
thinking
is
if they
Sunday,
were,
September 6th.
I was thinking if they were hiding out in Green Bay, we could derail them over here.
I don't know how many members they have in the marching band.
I think we had 30 last.
We had
on the
30 and
50th
$100
one.
apiece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in cash.
In cash.
No W-2s to follow.
But you said the 1,140 was 11 to 15 performers.
Yeah, just 11 to
So
15.
it's-
It's
I'm
gone
sure
up a
with
bit.
gone up a bit.
transportation
It's gone up a
and the
bit.
rest, it's just a thought. Figure out. Okay. So let's work backwards at this. If we were going to do something in August, what would be a date that we might consider, and then work backwards into an event? Just as a
And then
thought.
I could check to see about playing a movie. I could check with, Destination Sturgeon Bay and see if they actually have to pay to, or I think I'll call the Crest Pavilion instead.
Yeah, first.
Um,
We'll call them.
Yeah.
Well, are you more focused on a Friday night?
Well, I don't know if it makes much, it probably makes a difference to families if they're gonna bring kids and they'll be off, not work days. So probably a Friday night. Could be a Saturday. Can't be a Sunday afternoon with a movie, because we'd need a dark night.
Right.
Well, a Friday night, people,
And you know what?
most people are done working for the week. I mean, there's always people that work on weekends, of course, but
Linda, wasn't that the other thing that we thought about? Don't we have a problem with the movie night being too late because of sunset? You need dark, 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 dark.
We could do something in the fall. I mean, it doesn't have to be, you could
Give out hand warmers?
give up hand warmers, exactly. Or maybe instead of using it, you could do it for like a Halloween at the park or something like
Oh,
that.
Halloween.
Instead of utilizing it right now. I don't
With a
know. There's-
bonfire.
we've had
There's
snow on
just,
Halloween.
some other thoughts.
So the town would,
Mulled cider,
Snow.
deer hunting.
I think
And then
last
you
year,
could
the year
still
before
do
was
the
like
bounce
every
houses
season.
and whatnot.
when we were trick-or-treating.
You don't necessarily have to do the movie or anything, but just like, a fall fun day at the park.
okay, so we've moved in the fall, which means we
Well-
have time to find out the answers to some of these questions for our next conversation.
Well, certainly it
I-
could be September.
I'm just looking at the county league schedule. July 31st, I'm just telling you the Friday night games. West Jackson Port's here. And then August 16th, Maplewood is here. Friday nights.
But did we,
Oh, excuse me, no, it's a Sunday.
That's a
Sorry, I looked
Sunday.
at the wrong one. Sorry, I apologize. Yeah, so they only have one Friday night game left, which is 11 days from now.
I think the one thing, Mark, that we didn't touch base on is they make money at the game by selling seats. So how do we promote an event that's gonna say they're not gonna pay $6 to come in for free ice cream? If we
Well,
tied to a
could we
game.
offer
mean,
to
we could-
cover the,
We could literally pay,
cover the cover charge
we could tell the Cubs will give you, I mean, X amount of dollars for,
and no charge?
Well, do we
Right.
have to wrap it into a game?
no, I'm just saying, if we want to do a Friday night game, but it's, we only, it's, the only one left is 11 days away.
Yeah, and we're not
I
gonna
don't see
do
us getting
that.
it together.
That's not gonna happen then.
I think, I really like the bounce houses and ice cream and just, you know, maybe get some yard games out there and
For the kids.
just everybody, you know, I mean, you got
face
big
paint.
bags and, you know,
Yeah.
ladder golf, stuff like that, if you want to throw just some of that stuff out there and make it just a community get-together.
We could have like a best dressed patriotic
Yeah,
Yeah. And oldest, youngest, farthest.
There you go, do a costume, bring a costume.
Challenge.
Maybe at the end, you guys can pick who might be a winner.
yeah, I mean, you could even have people, you know, when you walk in, have a sign up or something and say who's lived in the town the longest, that's here, you know, shows up. Give them an apple.
Maybe the chairman could dress as like
Yeah, Uncle
George
Sam.
Washington
Uncle
and read
Sam.
the Declaration of Independence.
Uncle
Oh,
Sam.
God, yeah. 407 years ago,
Thomas
our fathers
Jefferson.
brought forth in this nation, yes, thank
Mr.
you.
Zachariason,
have a
he's got the
scroll
good beard,
there.
maybe Abe Lincoln. Big hat,
Give him a
stove
hat.
hat.
We could have a home run derby. We got millions of
I
ideas.
mean,
Moving on.
Ben Franklin could show up and fly a kite. We got all
So
kinds of stuff.
we're-
Okay, so
we can do some
what do you
research?
want us to do here? Check on the movie? Or is that off the table?
Well, it doesn't hurt to check, right?
Okay, I'll check on the movie.
Cubs is probably out of the question.
Correct.
Okay, Crest Pavilion, Martin Park. Ice cream thing, we know what that is.
We know what that costs.
We know
will
what
be.
banners are. Patriotic theme, whatever that means.
I'd say add advertising on WDOR or somewhere,
We got a billboard, signs.
We got
Well,
huge-
but,
We
you
could
know.
put it
maybe
Mark,
they'll-
you brought up the idea of the Sebastopol Marching Band.
Yeah, we can talk to Tanya and see if they'd be interested.
Do that.
Do they have a marching band?
Yeah, could
They
be
have a
march-
band, but I'm not sure they march.
Well, they could have the
Yep, they wear red
Sebastopol
t-shirts
Standing
and they
Band.
go in it.
They could practice.
I mean, if we wanted to get, like, you look through these numbers here, if we want to get Brussels to join us and Forestville Town, Forestville Village, they got a total of $110 between the three of them. Maybe they'll kick some in for us. So, yeah, do we explain, I mean, I don't know if you said how we got this money exactly, it's from the room tax
Yep.
percentages?
It's overage from accumulated
It's
funds.
kind of like getting a grant for the restroom kind of thing. They just kept some money outside and said, let's do this.
So Mark would check on the cost of bounce houses things
Yeah, I can find that out in 2 minutes.
and
See if the school wants to do something, if they could. I mean, it would really be, whether we do the Badgers or not, I mean, it would be nice if we did have a band that they would play some patriotic something or another.
yeah.
You know, a couple of things to kind of kick it off or whatever. I mean, that would be.
And it would involve the
Okay, who
community.
wants to check with Tanya? Should I or Mark? Or
I'm doing it right now.
You're doing it? Okay. And are you going to check on the bounce house too?
I just did that.
Okay, and I'm checking on the movies.
Does the Dingaling soft serve, are they available, I mean, do they have multiple things, or do you have to zero in on them for a
Most
date?
of their, when I suggested a Friday night, she said that's perfect because most of their Saturdays and Sundays are
Ah.
booked up.
Okay.
I will find out about the marching band and see if we can get all 300 of them here.
Are you talking about UW?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have a date in mind or is that, we don't know yet?
Well, maybe, do you think maybe you ask if you're thinking about the UW, that maybe you ask them about availability?
Well, I'm going to guess, to Mark's point, that we would need to pull it off in August, because once they get, they're traveling to games and doing all kinds of other things. And maybe that's not even.
That could be more challenging.
Right.
at the
But I'll
point
find
we are
out.
right now.
I'll at least ask the question,
All right.
and, we can, without violating the laws of an open meetings, I think we could share ideas back and forth.
Yeah.
I think we could probably get away with that. And I'll come up with whatever you have on next month's meeting, unless we reach some conclusion ahead of time. Then I'll bring it back.
Okay.
All right. We were rolling, I slowed us up, I apologize there. All right, financial reports, you have the budget versus actual, you have transactions by date, and you have account balances all in your packet. So you should have all had a chance to see those. Amy, did you have any comments?
Yep, the town has received our third quarter general transportation aids. As of July 1st, all 75 short-term rentals have been renewed, with 9 of those rentals being a 6-night, 7-day stay. And the second half of taxes are due on July 31st.
That's exciting.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. Thanks, Amy. We need a motion to approve the financial reports, put them on file.
So moved.
Motion by Linda, second.
Second.
Second by Jeannie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Okay. Approval of vouchers, bills, and claims. I think everybody signed them. Okay, if that be the case, a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers, bills, and claims from June 16th, 2026 through July 20th, 2026.
Motion by Jeannie, second by?
Second.
Second by Mark to approve the vouchers, bills, and claims. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right. Motion carries. Oral committee commission reports and minutes. We have in the packet the Plan Commission meeting minutes from November 11th. And that is the only one in the packet, and we will bring back her minutes next month for formal approval from tonight's meeting. So, anyone have any oral committee reports? Oh, wait a minute. What do I have here?
Yeah, I have an update on the ad hoc committee.
Yep.
We had the Business Association public information sessions, and the Monday meeting wasn't as well received, but the Tuesday meeting was very well received. And we have 11 businesses participating right now in the Sebastopol Business Association. And we're really excited to get going on that. So our next ad hoc meeting is going to be, it was going to be this Friday, but we're rescheduling it to Tuesday, August 4th at 1 p.m. So, yeah, we're very excited.
So, Stacy, are you gonna, knowing that Destination Door County is gonna be after us?
Yes.
You've moved it 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Is that gonna help you, hinder? I mean, that's an awful lot to do.
Yep,
and-
I'm gonna keep working on some stuff as the time progresses. So I'm gonna keep moving on with some things, getting letters going. I'm going to look into the 501 3.
501c3.
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 Yeah, the 3C and the 36. Which one, I might even reach out to Lori, Michelle Lori, because she had that business that went from
They were a
6
6 to a 1. yeah.
Right, so I was kind of wondering why,
Yeah,
and
I
if
think-
she knew why.
I think that would be good if you reached out to her, because she has a lot of knowledge.
Right,
Yeah.
so I was gonna reach out to her too. So I think in the meantime, I'm gonna do some background information, and then we'll have most of that done.
Have you, from what you received at the meeting, do you have 3 or 4 people that have raised their hand and are willing to assume the role of leadership in
Board.
that group?
Yeah, I think there are a good 3 or 4 that, yes, that want to do the leadership role. So, yeah. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I appreciate all your efforts, but I'm a little concerned that moving back into August is really gonna create a difficult talk track in order to get this thing finalized, at least enough that we can say, hey, we're taking the money.
Yep.
So feel free to pick the heads, the brains of the powers that be to see if there's something that we can do to move this topic,
Yep.
further along. Okay. Anyone else having anything else that they wish to speak about?
Well, the tourism zone, it was just the executive committee meeting last week, so I really don't have anything to report from that. But I happened to be traveling to La Crosse on last Wednesday, and here, lo and behold, the Wisconsin Towns Association was holding a District 5 meeting in Amro that same night. So I stopped off and
Squeaked
learned a
in the
few
meeting.
things.
Wow, look at
Yes.
that.
How's their food?
We had pizza.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Nice.
that's my highlight.
Okay, well, thank you for
Sounds
that.
kinda interesting.
All right, then we would need a motion to put the Plan Commission meeting minutes on file.
So
I'll make
moved.
that
Motion by Linda, second by
Second.
Mark. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes, okay. Hugh, you're on the county board update.
Yeah, we'll make it brief. It was a very brief meeting last month. I think a record 21 minutes, 23 seconds. And
It was like a flash.
people didn't even have time to nap. So I think the one area I want to cover is the resolution 2026-45, declaring intent to reimburse expenditures for proceeds of borrowing. What the county did with this resolution is allow to be able to borrow back up to $15 million towards the Towers project. And what that allows the county to do is, as they go through expenses, say buying property for putting up some of the 8 towers, additional towers have to be put up, with those expenses that are incurred, by the time we want to bond, we could basically say, I spent, let's say, $2 million on buying property, just a rough number, $2 million on buying property, and I have another, $10 million that I still have to go, right, for other future expenses. I could bond for that whole $12 million. $2 million that I already, paid for expenses towards the Towers project, plus the other 10 I'm gonna bond for. So I can bond and get that money, as part of the bond, in a sense, pay myself back or pay the county back. It just gives you flexibility for how you can do the financing relative to as expenses occur, since this is gonna go over, over another 2 or 3 year period, between buying property, putting up towers, purchasing the handhelds, et cetera. So there's just going to be a long period of time. And it just gives flexibility if you're going to go to the effort of bonding. Can I bond for additional money that I have expensed earlier? And then in a sense, it kind of just, frees that money back up, for the county to use for other uses. So that's the purpose of that resolution, and it gives the finance department some flexibility relative to how they pull the trigger on bonding and for how much they will bond based on, money they've spent to date on the project. So that's how that was, I think, the resolution worth highlighting. The other one that I want to just mention briefly, and I shared a letter of testimony to the chairman, to Linda, who's chair of the Plan Commission, and to the clerk treasurer. Last week, we had a request for a text amendment to the zoning ordinance to allow the town of Claybanks to eliminate all temporary uses in their town. And again, this goes to the discussion about camping. It goes to discussion where this town has had problems in the past with people trying to do infinite number of rummage sales. You know, again, that's a temporary use, you know, running a business to sell goods. In this particular case, in Claybanks, their concern is relative to the fact of how the temporary use exemption, if you will, that allows any zoning district to have any kind of temporary use, even if it's not one that's specified in that zoning district, you know, up to 10 occurrences per year. That's been in place since 1995. And in this case, what was done was someone took a barn in Claybanks and kind of modified it extensively to turn it into a wedding barn, okay? Now, the additional challenge here, this is in Claybanks. The barn is on exclusive ag zoning, and exclusive ag is basically protected by the farmland preservation law in the state of Wisconsin, which has extensive regulation relative to how you can convert agricultural land and facilities, and it's there to preserve farmland and farm businesses. So, so the question is, you know, how can you let a temporary use exemption, you know, turn something, especially in an exclusive ag zoned area, to be a wedding barn? Okay, so then it brought a broader discussion about you know, temporary uses. We've had the same wedding barn challenge, when you recall the residence on Glidden Drive that was used as a wedding venue, and they brought the folks in on the trolleys, you know, with a house that had a pouch that could only handle 4 people. So there's a lot of those. I know there was a representative from the town of Gibraltar at the meeting for another matter, and they also see many instances where this temporary use language, you know, provides ways for people to take advantage of uses on land that it really isn't intended when you look at what the land was zoned for. Yeah. So I think the initial discussion you had tonight is also another temporary use, potentially. When you look at that, you know, that's an event. And, you know, and is it consistent with properties next to residential zone district, SF20? So there is going to be, we voted down this motion because even during the testimony, the town of Claybank said their language would be too restrictive and wouldn't pass muster. So knowing they think that language was insufficient, and we voted it down knowing with the proviso that we are going to bring this back for a fuller discussion and potential action at the August 20 RPC meeting. So we tasked the Land Use Services Department to look at how other counties are treating the temporary use exemption as part of their relative comprehensive zoning ordinances. And I would ask Mr. Chairman to share this with the rest of the supervisors, just because it provides some interesting background relative to Claybanks and how they look at the exclusive ag and the farmland preservation, and just in general, you know, if you have a matrix that says, hey, you can use these uses within certain zoning districts, but yet you provide this caveat with a temporary use that, you know, anything goes, that's kind of inconsistent. So that's what the town of Claybanks is asking, and I think this is one that other towns would resonate with some challenges relative to, you know, what the limitations that temporary use clause provides. So I appreciate allowing me to tell you, talk to this, since it really wasn't part of county board specific topic, but I think relevant since it's going to be coming up in the August meeting, and how interesting of a discussion it's probably going to be, you know, because that could affect a lot of entities that take advantage of this, you know, zoning loophole.
Hugh, what is the time of that meeting on the 20th?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock is the, is the usual time.
Okay.
And I don't know if there is a public hearing that is scheduled yet. So if there's a public hearing, that may last a half an hour, and then the meeting would
Okay.
start at 3. But just, but 3 o'clock, just so that you don't miss
It'd
it.
be good to listen to that discussion.
But definitely one of the more meatier topics. And I think it'll be good to have this one, because I think it'll help inform us as we look at things such as the, camping ordinance, where there's been feedback on as well, because that's, there's some aspects of that that's relative to temporary use as well. So with that, if there's any other questions for the board, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
I have a couple questions. So on that topic, Hugh, I did read the attachment, and we could have a discussion on that at a plan commission
Okay.
meeting, which will probably be the first week in August. I'll be sending out some dates for that. And then secondly, so you adopted the employee and administrative policy manual. Does it happen to include a dress code? I only mention that
Okay.
because I was at a public meeting, and that county employee, it was an embarrassment. And she was out, there was public there. And I actually went and talked to our county administrator about it, talked to Ken about it. So I was just wondering if that's come before anybody, especially
No,
if you're
yeah.
visible to the public.
I know that topic's been discussed relative to the dress codes of the county board members themselves in meetings as well as in committee sessions. I didn't look at it in all honesty in detail relative to dress code, so.
Thank you.
I have a question relative to the draft.
Minutes?
Yeah. What did we do with the shipping container stuff?
Oh, it was just a discussion.
Because
Yeah,
it
I
says
read it.
pass it along, and
I have to look at
when
my
is your
minutes.
timing on this? Because I'll bring
Yeah.
this back to the town board next month.
I believe it's coming, I want to say the August 6th meeting, if I'm not mistaken.
And this will
and,
be just another
Just
conversation
discussion.
on
It's
feedback?
based on the latest, on the revision that we made, where it's more focused on commercial uses and pretty much restricting it across the board on residential, or if it's in a commercial use and someone has, and the only use on that parcel is a residential building, it's also excluded.
So Linda, will you capture the thoughts that you had and send
Present
them?
that on August 6th.
Yes, I think it's
Right,
on August
it's
6th.
August
Yeah.
6th.
So I think we're asking all the towns to make sure they get that back to the RPC, or the Land Use Service Department, so the RPC has that feedback in their packet.
Should I just send them our minutes
Well,
then?
minutes, or I think we talked about basically the Plan Commission's consensus is similar to the previous town
Yeah.
position of no shipping containers, full stop. So I think that's fine. I think the only other item that was discussed at the Plan Commission, that even in those commercial settings, you may offer limited uses, via a conditional use permit.
Because it was really the general consensus of our plan
Yes.
commission that it doesn't fit with us,
Right.
with our,
So,
our image
The
that we
only
want to
other-
portray.
The only other
So-
thing that I clarified after the meeting with Hugh was that was brought up that some of the orchards are using
Yep.
shipping containers. What they're using are refrigerated
Refrigerated,
semis,
right.
not shipping containers.
Okay.
There's a difference there.
Yes.
So just
Yeah.
FYI. Okay,
Right.
I'm
And
good.
still on wheels.
Still on wheels.
Yep.
And doesn't say Maersk on the side in a bright orange.
Right.
Okay.
So should I just
If
kind of-
if he's fine with that,
yeah,
Okay.
it's a similar
Okay,
consensus.
I will
That's-
submit it
that's fine,
to-
Yeah.
just
To land
capture
use
that
then.
and
Yeah.
submit it
Okay.
back. Okay. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Okay, thanks, you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me know if you want me to move you up in the agenda. Your choice. Okay, Inspection Limited, you have their report for the month, as well as a few town zoning permits that have been issued. A lot of accessory structures. Rock on the Rock, this is the liquor licenses, or I should say the beer and wine license for the event being taken out by
The VFW.
the VFW on behalf of Mike Parent's group. So everything is good to go with this.
And it's just beer?
It's beer and
Just
wine, I
The
believe.
wine isn't checked.
No,
up
it's
on.
just beer.
beer.
So
Oh, it's just
beer,
beer.
White Claw
Said they're putting a
is
beer-
considered, so any
White Claw is considered whatever, okay.
Malt
yeah,
beverages.
malt beverages.
Malt.
yeah.
All right, good to go. So we would just need a motion to approve this.
I'll make said motion.
Motion by Mark, second by.
I'll second it.
Second by Linda, was it?
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, Stacy. Any further discussion? If none,
That works.
I'm sorry, what?
I think you're ventriloquist down there.
I thought it was Stacy.
No, it was
I don't
Linda.
know.
I'm sorry.
My lips were moving.
It was Linda.
My lips were looking straight
I have the ability to throw my
ahead.
voice, you know.
That's good. Well, while you're throwing your
Throw it over your
voice,
eyes.
She throws it right over here.
it was a motion by a lot of people. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, Glenn. Correspondence.
Going downhill.
Now, no one stayed here for Clark Lake, but I shipped all of these documents off that you see in the packet
About the Lake District.
about the Lake District. I also had a conversation with an individual who started a Lake District on White Potato Lake in Wisconsin. It did not take 3 years. I also sent letters in my note to them, I think you read it, and I said, you know, you need to look to the future, because it's not going to always be a situation where two town boards are going to agree on the things that you want. And if I didn't get into that, but I mean, if you think back about the things that they've asked us to do, monitor, control, or fix over the years, it's a fairly lengthy list, and they've consumed a lot of our time resources. I'm not adverse to that, but I think they need to find self-determination. If you want, I'll bring this back in August. If not, I'm just going to leave it with them. If I get any more information from anyone, I'll pass it along to them and share it with you. So, just a thought. That's why I did not want to get into a tit-for-tat conversation once again, because I have been trading emails with numerous individuals. I know you've been copied in on some of those.
Yeah.
And until there's some movement, and one of the two organizations say, do it, I don't see us investing the time and effort to get that done. If they make a movement on it, there's judgments out there. We are certainly in support of that effort. We can take that action if need be. The boating season, as they indicated, is pretty much at the end of the trail. I mean, we're not going to impact that anyhow. This is a next year conversation. So, anyway, if you have feelings on that, let me know.
Well, I have a question. You had highlighted, let's see, what page is it? It's the last page of the Lake District thing.
Yep.
So lake districts are established by town, county, or village boards or city councils
Yep,
based on a petition of the lake area owners.
correct.
Now, but from reading this, the Lake District itself is run by the owners,
Correct,
governed by the owners,
correct.
but the town establishes it?
Well, that part of it gets a little, what it does is they have to get approval, the town or the county, whoever's governing the lake, they have to come back and say, you know, we want to do this, and we have to say yes. And the DNR has to agree as well, but there's no,
So,
they petition the town, and 51% of the landowners or lake people can do it. And they can choose to do the residents directly on the lake, or they could choose to do, I forget the exact verbiage, but it's in here somewhere.
Landowners.
They could choose to do the west shore, lake shore, both sides.
Right.
Because they are the beneficiaries of that. They would petition us. I would have a difficult time saying no. Tom, Jacksonport has been approached, and Tom has also shared this conversation at their meeting. saying, you know, what's up. So, at any rate, as soon as somebody decides something, we'll do something, but right now we're on hold. So, then you have destination connection in there, and the fire reports for both 2 months. And the last one in here is a whole bunch of stuff regarding the safety committee request, or excuse me, the safety study request from the Bay Shore group, in terms of what's up. And I think, I don't know if I got this, did you all get the latest email with the statistics on
Yeah.
speed limit? Okay,
Yep.
I recall if it's in there. So as you know, they're asking, we made no commitments other than that we were asked to support the study, which we did, and said, this has nothing to do with any financial support at this point.
When
Well,
did we
I
do
have
that?
to,
Pardon me?
When did we do that?
When did we do what?
Support of the speed study. Last I remember was like, we talked about it in
If you
May,
read
and
this,
we never,
if you read this, you'll see in here that on June 16th, he said, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this, and then he asked me to support the study, or asked us if we would, and I said, and it's highlighted here, we can make such a request without board meeting, but anything related to funding commitments or suggestions that the town participate would need to wait till July meeting. And they were having the highway meeting, and this was June 18th, and it was copied into you. And my response to him, or I should say to Thad Ash, is in there, just saying we'd support the request for a speed study. And that was it.
Mr. Chairman, could I comment on that?
Sure.
I've already ran this by you.
Yep.
So the Door County Highway and Facilities met on July 8th. The day after, I was blindsided by one of the committee members saying, hey, what's with the town of Sebastopol supporting the traffic study? And I said, we didn't do any support. We heard their presentation, and that was that. And so then the response was, well, we have a letter that the town board supports the traffic study. I said, I'm not aware of that.
So you
I
did
mean,
not,
I was
you will
I
see
was
here.
blindsided. I didn't know anything about this, and I don't think, and I only bring it up because I don't think any of the other board members saw it either
Well, I can't
until
answer,
after the fact.
but if you look at the first note in here, the first piece that's in there, it says, Amy, copy the supervisors on the note to Thad Ash. Remind them this is a request to do a study. No money on our part is involved in the request. Now, I did go and make the decision that a low-risk thing, like we support what they're doing. Beyond that, I
but we
can't
never-
answer.
But we never said we support what they're doing. We've never once said any formal
I
thing that
don't,
we've.
I don't support it.
You don't
Because I also-
support a speed
No.
study?
No,
No,
I
because
don't.
that costs us, and I've got also.
No, it doesn't
Well,
cost us
we don't
money.
know that yet, but the thing is, I mean, I also got blindsided, as Linda said, I mean, that's a good way to put it. I had people coming to me from a couple other roads saying, you guys have denied ours or change of speed, and I have no idea what you're talking about. And then they said they were talking to a couple of these people from Bay Shore Drive, that this is approved by us. And then comes to their attention this month that we,
Well,
as a town, we are okay with it.
I would not have bothered had I anticipated there would be a problem supporting something that they've been asking to do, since I made no other commitments beyond the fact that, yeah, we'd support it. I'll be happy to send a letter saying we withdraw our support, because there's nothing in there.
Well,
As
I don't
far
want-
as you're
to me-
not being made aware of it, I can't answer for that. I mean, I took the action, but I can't answer,
Well,
because if you
it's-
didn't see it in your mail, that's not my concern, because it was specifically listed.
When was
So-
in our email?
If you look, Mark, on the very page that's in your handout, dated June 18th, it says, traffic study, Amy, copy the supervisors on the note to Thad Ash. Remind them this request, that they do a study, no money on our part is involved in the request. It's in the same note that says, Jay, we can make such a request, but not any funding commitments.
I guess I guess I'm reading something. What I see here is, Amy, can you put together a brief note in parentheses formal and letterhead questioning this of Thad Ash? I can be emailed or hard copied to him. That goes
And-
from the town special chairman. I don't see, my point is, you know, the I stuff needs to stop. It's gotta be the
Show 'em
we
to him.
stuff.
That's
Because
fine.
there's 5 of us on the board, and you say, oh, I did this, well, it's the we. If we
That's
don't know
fine.
about it, it makes us look a little foolish.
Well, you should have known about it. I can't address that because you'll get an opportunity to look at the email yourself. So I don't have a response for that. As far as his request, I thought, and my mistake, I thought that it was logical to say, hey, we support the study. That doesn't mean we pay for it or do anything else. It's the county's road. So,
Well, I was just embarrassed that
see it?
I didn't, as I did not get any email on June 17th or 16th or 15th saying this was coming down the line, and.
you would have
it's
gotten a
really-
copy of the note that was sent. And that
Well,
that
I
Only,
note
it's,
was,
it doesn't see any of the
17.
supervisors on here.
yeah,
None of us were copied on that.
no, that I can't answer for.
So I just remember
Anyway.
a discussion earlier on that was like, it's a county road, it's up to the county to do
To
the
take care of
study.
it.
That's what I remember, any kind of, the only discussion.
Well, I have no problem sending them a letter saying that we have disapproved, or we are not supporting, or whatever verbiage you like. Sometimes I do admittedly take shortcut where I think it makes logical sense to try and not go and do everything, and they had a meeting, so that's
Well,
fine.
if we're gonna take shortcuts when you want, we should take shortcuts when we all want.
No,
On other things that are happening in the town, in my opinion, it pisses me off a little bit, to be completely honest. Because there are things that go on behind the scenes, that's been going on for boards forever, and I don't think it's right. That's just my 2 cents.
I appreciate that. All right, anything else here, or let's see.
Yeah, what is with this assessment notice? That's our combined parcel of the park and the town hall, and we're at zero
That
because
is-
we're tax exempt, sure, but why is that in here?
Because down on the bottom, it says preliminary general level of assessment is 80%. And Amy had a conversation
Because, yeah,
with-
we fall below.
with
Miles.
Miles, thank you, with Miles regarding this, and that is in fact where we are. And so as a result of that, when we are out of compliance,
Again?
we're well out of compliance.
Again? We're out of compliance that fast?
20% out in 2 years.
Last year, we were at 86. And now this year, we are at 80.
And Sturgeon Bay is doing a reassessment, Sister Bay is doing a
And they just
reassessment.
had one last year.
Already.
Gibraltar.
So, I
Ay,
put
ay, ay.
this in here, it's gonna be in the, we'll have a chance to talk to Miles at the Board of Review, because he'll have all of this stuff, and can bring it back on the August meeting, but,
Yeah, tomorrow's the Board of Review.
we will end up more than likely having to take some form of action, because we have 3 years from when we fall out of compliance. So next year will be 3 years, and then the state can come in if it chooses. I think it's 3 years. The state can come in and force us to do it. So that leaves us really 2 ways to do it: to do another full reassessment or some modification, or to do an across-the-board adjustment, which is also an option. So, but I don't know how you do an across-the-board adjustment when you're off 20%. And by the time you hire it and get it done, you're down further. So, at any rate, that is that. We can chat tomorrow on it. And then, Linda, you wanted the Door County Tourism Zone annual meeting packet, which I've included in there. Was there anything in particular?
No, just thanks for including it. You know, it was our annual meeting where we reviewed everything. I mean, the numbers that stand out, obviously, cabins and homes are now priority when it comes to units rented, when it comes to the average daily rate, they're the highest, and compared to what it was 10 years ago. Even the seasonality that just reflects on the short-term rentals. And when I think of the short-term rentals, okay, you're renting a house with a kitchen, and if it's on the shore, it's probably got a kayak or two or three, or a canoe and a bicycle. Those are all things that our community has to offer. We offer restaurants, we offer the rental of all that sporting equipment, and now it's there for free. And again, one house counts as one unit, whereas in a hotel, every room counts as a unit. So you could have an 8-bedroom house and it's still considered one unit. So, sorry to knock the short-term rentals, but it's true.
Since you mentioned the short-term rentals, Amy,
Yep,
you said we had,
75.
and that's up, down, or the same?
It's actually the same as last year. There have been a few that have closed, and then some new ones opening. Now, the new ones, as long as they're not living in the residence while they are renting, they do have to rent that 6 nights, 7 days.
And how many of those do we have?
11.
9.
Oh, I thought you said 11. 9.
Last year, we had 6 of those, so 3 must have come on, and then 3 must have discontinued.
Okay. So it's curious how many of those we had. All right, and then you have Door Connect in there, and that's all of the correspondence. And the announcements are Board of Review tomorrow, July 21st, 12 to 2 p.m.
Do we have any objections filed?
Pardon me?
Do we have any objections filed?
We do not.
Okay. Ad hoc business meeting has now been moved from July 24th to August 4th.
Yep.
Okay. Park and Rec meeting is Wednesday, July 29th, 6 p.m. Door County Fair, August 12th through the 16th. Wisconsin Towns Association Door County Unit meeting in Bailey's Harbor is Thursday, August 13th. Door County Threshery, August 14th through the 16th on Country View Road. Vintage Revival, which I had to ask Amy about.
What
This is
is
the
that?
combination car show that they were doing at the Threshery grounds.
Races.
That's August 20th through the 22nd. And the Board of Supervisors meeting Monday, August 17th, 7 p.m. here. Anything else? Hearing none? Then
I have a
you have something.
Okay. So, as far as our agenda goes, so tonight we had a member of the audience use my name, and your name too, more than my name. Would we ever consider, under public participation and supervisor response? I mean, I didn't get a chance to say that I responded to her email. It was just a simple I copied you. It was a simple response to Mrs., to one of the Clark Lake people.
Assignments.
Saying, thank you for your email. Our chairman has already responded, you know. But it kind of made it seem like, oh, the supervisors don't respond to emails. So that,
you
or
did?
just mention that, oh, Supervisor Waite did respond, or something like that.
Okay,
You know.
because you did respond.
I
and
did
we
respond.
Okay.
And, you know, it kind of appeared that, oh, I just blew her off, which I didn't, so.
No, and under, if we weren't rehashing the rehashing of the rehashing, you know, I might have gone someplace else with it, but
Then it brings up an hour discussion.
it just,
Right, yeah.
you know, I respond to them, I give them the best information I can. They don't want to accept it, what am I going to do? It's like,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't want to
Okay,
rehash the
just-
query and whatever.
Well, just so you all know, I did
That's,
respond to
that's fine. Okay, last call. Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Stacy, second
Second.
by Mark. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.